Well, 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 dear sisters and brothers. Hello. Welcome. Thank you. My name is Matt Ruby. Applause, it feels so good. The ego, you came to the right place. You're manifesting ego, and I'm receiving it. This is Steven Pestana who's making sounds tonight. Steve is a wonderful musician and an artist as well. I encourage you to examine his work in the future. And this won't be like super weird or anything, don't worry. Sense some trepidation in the room. But it'll be a little bit weird, just the right amount. Hopefully. And it won't be like real, like religious or spiritual or any of that bullshit, you know. But I was trying to think of how we could have a moment of worship at the beginning, and I was trying to think, what is it that is the object of worship for us, if we're being real? And I think most shows, they tell you to put away your phone. I would like for everyone to take out their phone right now. And what I'm hoping is, before making sure that they're off, we all send a kind text message to someone. It can be like a partner or a family member or someone who you respect or admire, or just anyone who might like to receive a kind text message from you. And we're all gonna, as a unit, send out something with that force. Too loud. We already have a heckle. Even out of the gate. Steve, what do you think about music being too loud? What's your opinion?
Be adjusted. Very flexible.
Maybe we're
See, it's a collaboration already together. We are building this performance as one. But yeah, type that something nice. And then after that's sent, actually like turn off your phone. Don't just turn it on vibrate, because I feel like it's just better for everyone. And then we'll all get to turn on our phones at the end and see how people reply to our kind messages. All at the same time. And if you get ignored, that's okay too. Don't feel that you're not worthy in any way. It's probably just coming tomorrow. So why are we in a yoga studio? I don't have a good answer. Best I can do is like I typically perform in places that are bars or comedy clubs or theaters, and most often in comedy clubs, I feel like there's a lot of pressure in that scenario on everyone involved to like deliver jokes and have punchlines, and you gotta order drinks, but order them quietly, and you know, oh no, is he gonna talk to me? You know, and like it's part great because it produces laughter, tension and laughter go together. But I also like crave some energy level where it can be not that, for lack of a better term, tap dancing. You know, because sometimes that's how I feel when I'm on stage, like I'm tap dancing. I'm like, what would like the ballet version be? You know, what would be something a little bit less pressured? Not just for me, for you. You don't have to like, don't laugh. Okay. You know, and a lot of it won't be funny. But it's like you gotta set the dial where you want it to be, which is the Buddha once had a student who was a musician, and the musician asked the Buddha, when I'm meditating, should I be rigid and stiff and alert, or should I be relaxed and sort of somber and more zen and chill. And the Buddha replied, well, you're a musician. When you tune the strings on your instrument, are they supposed to be too tight or too loose? And the musician's like, they're just supposed to be in tune. And the Buddha's like, well, that's how you're supposed to be. So that's what you can do with your body. If you want to lie down, lie down. If you want to just sit against the wall, that's cool. I'm not going to be doing this big theatrics that you need to eyeball. Yeah, being in tune, I feel like is going to be a theme. There's another body positioning anecdote that I like, which is about what's the ideal ergonomic position to be in the workplace? Should you be at like a standing desk, or should you be sitting, or on one of those weird inflatable balls? It seems weird to have an office. You know what I mean? You know, one of those chairs where you put your legs under. And the right answer is just a different position than you were 30 minutes beforehand. So it's going to be less about right or wrong or funny or not funny. It's going to be always set the dial. And, you know, it might be 30 minutes different each time. There's edibles and water still, if anyone needs anything. And I did want for us to meditate a little bit. And I'm not a professional guy, exactly. And, well, to be honest, I've never guided anyone in meditation before in my life. So let's see how it goes. And participate or not, however you want. But yeah, if you want to just take some deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. Just as deep as you can. Inhale, exhale. And then maybe just connect to wherever your body is making contact with the ground. You know, your feet or your butt or your back. You know, just your back against the wall. Just noticing that sense of your body touching something. And then pay attention to the sounds, to Steve's wonderful playing. And if your mind does wander and goes off into some weird area, it's okay. You can think about weird stuff like, how come I've never seen a female magician? All my life I've been looking at magicians, I've never seen a female magician. It's weird, right? Well, I've been thinking about it. I have some theories for why there are no female magicians. Theory number one, women are not dorks and losers. That seems to be the soil where magicians grow out of. So, I'm just kind of ahead of the game, ladies. Theory number two, women don't have to do magic because you can already do the greatest magic trick in the world, which is give birth. It's amazing. Abracadabra. Right? I mean, men, we have to saw a woman in half. And women are like, yeah, whatever, I'll make a new one, it's good. It'll be fine, I got it covered. Real impressive. The theory number three, for why there are no female magicians, is that there were a lot of female magicians, and then we call them witches. And ever since, women have been like, I don't do magic. I don't have anything to do with these rabbits. I didn't touch those doves. I saw what you did to Susan. I'm good. Because it's the patriarchy, right? All that toxic masculinity coming at us all the time. Because I'm a cisgendered, heteronormative, white, middle-aged, Jewish man. I might be the least popular demographic right now. I might not win it all. Right? I might be in the center of the storm. So I guess I gotta acknowledge that. Right? Gotta pay attention to the patriarchy. And why, and the men who I'm like, why are they so angry? Why are they so filled with this rage? They're supposed to be, so lucky, but they're mad. And I think it's because men don't cry and we don't dance. So we're just bottling up a lot of stuff. I mean, I'm talking about like a certain kind of straight dude, I get it. There's variations. But women, you're crying and dancing and letting stuff go, and men, we're just like constantly pushing stuff down. We gotta seem masculine. Like we would love to cry at the end of a rom-com.
Yeah!
Push it down. Girls' night out, where like four of you go out dancing, everyone's so happy you're there. Guys' night out, four of you just want to go dancing, they're like, yeah, you would just ruin it, so no. Just pushing it all down. Going to the bathroom in pairs, that looks amazing. But that's the great. Two women go to the bathroom in a pair, you're like, that's adorable, they're best friends, that's great. Two dudes go to the bathroom together, you're like, I hope they're doing drugs. I hope that's what's happening there. Best case scenario. Pushing it all down. Spa day, looks nice. Mani pedis. My nails stuck. Push it down. Seasonal drinks like the pumpkin spice latte.
Yeah.
Yeah, order that. But if you're a guy, only seasonal thing you get is the McRib. That's all you get, Nothing is good. Selfies at sunset. We know it's golden hour. We know. Not for you, straight boy. Push it down. That's what the men of this country are doing, pushing it down and pushing it down. And it doesn't disappear, it doesn't go away, it just sits there in resentment, it stirs around. Like the lava, the volcano kind of bubbling up until one day it erupts and you're like, I gotta join Reddit. That's where the other sad, lonely men who like camouflage and always hang out. And there I will make friends and eventually we will meet at the Capitol. So why? Why are men pushing it all down? I like to ask why. It's like a Japanese concept. You ask why 5 times you get to the truth. Kaizen. Why? Why are men always pushing all this stuff down? It's because we're afraid of seeming weak. That's our biggest fear. Vulnerable, that's pretty bad too, but weak is... It's like, ladies, you guys have unfair body standards, but men, we have unfair emotional standards. No matter what, we don't want to seem weak. So why? And that's why. Why don't we want to seem weak? It's because we're afraid. We're afraid that if we seem weak, women won't be attracted to us. And why do we think that? to something, that's just teaching men what to do more of. And so you can say you want good men, but if you're attracted to bad boys, then you made more of them. It's the, I get it though, it kind of sucks to kind of be attracted to what you hate. The bummer. Male nurses and male kindergarten teachers, that's who should be getting laid the most. So it's like DJs and drug dealers and MMA fighters. It's my point is ladies, you gotta be the change you want to see in your vagina. Have sex with a sad man. Tell them it's okay. For society. Because who do we hate the most in society right now? Like in liberal woke circles, like the police officer. They're the worst. All cops are bastards. Yet, who is the headliner at the male strip club? Who's the closer? When it comes time to turn women on, who do we go to? Officer Steve. How are they ever going to learn? Why would they think they're supposed to change? What needs to happen is when he gets introduced to stage, we need to turn on him. It's got to be like, please welcome to the stage, Officer Steve. And everyone there's just like, boo! Send out a social worker who can treat mental health issues. That's what makes me horny now. Defund Officer Steve. Giving singles to a community organization. Yeah. That's how we end toxic masculinity. It's going to have to be a partnership. But we were meditating. Next, we're going to do a body scan. So basically, just with your mind scanning down your entire body from head to toe, just starting at the top of your head, and just slowly going down in your mind to your forehead, your eyebrows, tip of your nose, your mouth, neck, and just slowly continue along that path down the rest of your body. It's okay if you feel distracted. It's okay if you're wondering what's on your phone right now. Are you wondering what's on your phone right now? I'm wondering what's on my phone right now. I'm always wondering what's on my phone right now. It's as if it was like made for me. I don't like to admit it, but sometimes I think I fall in love with people on my phone. Like, I run, and I use this app called Runkeeper, and every 5 minutes it updates you, and you can choose which voice you want. And one of the voice options is the sexy French lady. And her role in my life is to, every 5 minutes, tell me how far I've gone and what a good job I've done. And I'm a fan of it. All I do is hit start. She's like, la la, you were fast, good job. I did not even go anywhere. And I appreciate this positive energy coming at me. Imagine having that everywhere in your life. You know? Right after sex, she's just like, la la, you were fast, good job. I was fast. embarrassed to admit, on Instagram, I follow an account called Your Korean Dad. And it's this guy, Nick Cho, and he's like a Korean dad. And he just looks straight in the camera and treats you like his child. He's just like, hi, I'm your Korean dad. And then he shows you like how to make kimchi or holds your hand as you cross the street. And is this like cultural appropriation on my behalf? And is it okay that I'm a little Korean boy? Because it feels great. When he's not there, I miss him. It makes me want to respect my elders. I'm just like, love my Korean dad. That's what the internet does. It makes you love strange things. TikTok mental health. Anyone into that? Mental health TikTok. That can't possibly be a good idea, right? Get your mental health advice from people pointing at text bubbles. That can't possibly be what Young would recommend, I don't think. Someone just dancing around and be like, are you considering suicide? You should really call someone. Smash that like button. That can't possibly be the right path. Guided meditation apps. There's one I like. It's this Headspace, this British dude named Andy, whispers in my ear for 20 minutes every day. I think we're in love. I know, it's intimate. A grown man just whispers in your ear every day, just be like, calm down, relax. You're right, Andy. He knows. He recommends that every time I enter a room full of people, I imagine a beam of light emanating from my chest that bathes everyone in the room in light and kindness. So now, every time I enter a room, I've never been more stressed out in my life. It's like my job to bathe everyone in there in light and kindness. I feel like you should just be happy I bathed. Huh? I kind of think we're addicted to technology. I feel a little bit like a slave to the robots sometimes. The time where I feel the most like a slave to the robots is in a public restroom with those motion sensor lights. And you're on the toilet and then the lights don't see enough motion, so they turn off. And you're just sitting on the toilet and you have to, like, in the dark, wave your arms at the robot eye. You're like, I'm sorry, I have human bodily functions, Mr. Robot. I'm just a human, I'm doing my best. And the lights are like, fine. Everyone's like, fine. Now I just speed bump every time I'm in a public restroom. In and out. In and out, and then on the way out, I look at the robot eye and I say, are you happy now? And the robot responds, yeah, you're fast, well done. Let's keep going on that body scan. Where were we? Wherever you were, start there. It's okay if your mind wanders at all during this. It's when you notice that your mind has wandered, that's actually when you're doing it right. So what's the right medicine? I think your environment determines what's the right medicine. So the forest will give you mushrooms. The desert will give you peyote. The jungle will give you ayahuasca. And the city will give you therapists. That's what we've got to heal the world. And I love therapy. And therapy started probably around 10 years ago. And I don't know if I'm the best patient or client, whatever the right term is. Don't say patient. People don't like being patients. I'm a client. She told me I need to get better at asking for help. That too often I embrace a lone wolf mentality. And I replied, I'm going to stop coming to therapy. I could figure that out on my own. Come on, whatever. She once asked me if I thought I was on the spectrum. What do you guys think? I refused to answer the question. And she was like, it's too personal. And I was like, I just don't appreciate the phrase on the spectrum. Because you know what's on the spectrum? Everything. That's how spectrums work. That's the whole point of the spectrum. It's a totality that includes a subset. If there's nothing that's off the spectrum, there's nothing that's off the spectrum, how could I possibly say what's on the spectrum? Does everyone get? Because like imagine there was a color spectrum. So it's like, here's a color that's not on the color spectrum. You'd be like, no, that's a black hole. It's impossible. And she just stared at me. And I was like, yeah, so I guess I am on the spectrum if I care that much about spectrums. It's pretty clear I'm on one. Am I hallucinating or are people dancing upstairs? I paid them to do that, actually. Part of the show. So why was I in therapy? You want to know, you greedy vultures? We all want to know why each other are in therapy. What could be more interesting, right? The thing you're trying to hide from the world, right? Not always, I guess. I went because I had just broken up with a girl that I was living with, and I got fired from a job, and I was in the early years of doing stand-up comedy, which is a lot of like hanging out at open mics with mentally ill people.
Yeah.
And just being like, okay, this is my world now. And I knew a friend who had seemed like he wasn't doing all that well, and then seemed to be doing a lot better. And he had gone to the therapist, and I was like, okay, we need a date. But there's a thing about presenting problems, is what they're called in the therapy world. That's the, why are you here? What are you trying to solve? What's your first answer to that? Is the presenting problem. And the thing with presenting problems is they're usually wrong. It's usually like a symptom to something else. Whatever you think is the problem with you, some professional is going to be like, what this idiot thinks his problem is. So we worked together for years. And I think probably more what I was really there for was dealing with like some emotional trauma related to my mother's illness, which we'll get into. And I think loneliness. I think there's a lot of loneliness, and we're in a city with so many people, there's so much activity and bustling around. Sometimes it's like this distraction, and you know, because we're living in a place that doesn't necessarily have the same priorities and values as the rest of the world. So it's like this whole kind of tightrope walk we do here. And yeah, and I think I was, I don't know if depressed the right word, or sad. I don't know if I believe in the binary version of these things, but like, maybe numb. I didn't feel things. And it was a process of learning that feeling numb isn't the absence of feelings. Feeling numb is a response to being overwhelmed by that. So if you're overwhelmed by feelings, you might be someone who goes numb. And then, the mom bullshit, that's always part of it, right? I mean, what therapist isn't going to start with the mom? My therapist asked me if I do stand-up comedy because my mom was funny. I thought about it and I said, I don't think so. My mom wasn't funny. In fact, I don't really remember seeing her smile at all, so I don't think that's why I do stand-up comedy. I mean, honestly, my mom was kind of depressed. Nothing I would ever do would ever make her laugh, so it's definitely not why I get up in front of a room full of strangers every night and you try to make them. Oh. Good job by her, right? Damn. Abracadabra. It just let me walk myself right into it. Yeah, the mom story. So my mom was cool, but my mom at the end of her life was sick. She got this disease called multiple sclerosis. And basically she kept just slowly getting worse over like 15 years. So it's like, starting with like having trouble walking up a hill, and then needing a cane, and then a stroller, whatever they're called, then a wheelchair, and then paralyzed from the neck down. So it's weird because it's like not when someone's in like a car crash or something where it happens all of a sudden. It's like watching someone get beat up with a feather. And it's, a strange form of water torture. So that probably had some impact on me, right? We'll get to skate away. Remember that seeing weak stuff, like the manhood stuff? It's just like, that's for weak people to engage in that sort of stuff. I'm gonna be a man. And I wonder sometimes about like the lessons and things, because I would say what I got from how my mom reacted to her illness was how much she kept a positive frame of mind. She didn't complain, she was never mad, she was just, these are the cards I'm dealt, this is the path I'm on, my journey is an inward one now. And I don't know, it kind of puts any other form of complaining in perspective when someone with the inability to move their body is just telling you, I'm okay with where I'm at. And then the other thing was that she had really led a sort of wild, crazy, bohemian, filled with adventure life while she was young, before I arrived and ruined everything. And I think there was part of her that was grateful for having had that period in her life and using her body, her vessel, in a way that she could in that moment, in that way. So there's a powerful lesson in that too, of like, this is your body, your vessel, you should be using it now and appreciating it and expressing gratitude for it. Because there are guarantees about future behaviors. And the other thing I got from therapy was meditation. My therapist was mindfulness-based stress reduction, which is just what Western people need to say to launder Eastern philosophy into it's just like Buddhist shit, but they gotta be like, no religion. Okay, this is for you guys at Google. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that military guys who are about to kill someone. Use this guided meditation app. You'll be okay with it. Mix together capitalism with Buddhism here. But the meditation stuff, I do think it gives you a moment between when you feel things and when you react to them. And in that moment, it's like a lifetime. It's like a muscle that you can build, and all the time you're just noticing, like, oh, that's happening. Let me examine that thought, and then let me decide what to do about it. But just that moment gives you this gift. Because then instead of being dragged along by the horse, you get to be the jockey on top of it. I mean, that's the idea. You never master it. I mean, look how this meditation's going. You want to encounter breaths a little bit. So you can just breathe normally in through your nose, out through your nose. And what we're going to do is on each breath, count 1 on the intake and 2 on the out, 3 up again, 4 on the out, and do that up to 10 and then start over again at 1. So it's in 1, out 2, in 3, out 4, keep doing that to 10 and just move around. I'm so grateful you all are here. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not done or anything. It just felt like in the moment when I was feeling. So I'm working on my timing. Yes. Weed is medicine now. Sure. All these years I thought I was doing drugs. Turns out I am a health fanatic. I'm good about my choices. And yeah, I kind of like things that are downers more than, like I don't like coke. Well, I get, in part because I don't like cocaine people. I prefer weed people. My thing with cocaine people is like I don't understand why they never can remember that they're going to want cocaine. It's always a surprise. I feel like weed people know, like, no, I'm going to want weed. I should have weed. I'm going to want it. Cocaine people, like, it's 1 a.m., we got to find some blow. Now? Like weed people, like, it's 1 a.m., we got to find some Taco Bell. Solvable problems. I love mushrooms too. Mushrooms are amazing. They're a good cure masculinity stuff. They're like, oh yeah, we're all connected. All that ego stuff is bullshit. It's all that kindness and empathy, and good music and art. It's a good antidote to what we're usually being sold. I don't know how I feel about this microdosing stuff, though. Sounds like it's for soccer moms. I don't know. I don't like when we try to mainstream this stuff and like turn it into a commodity. Like shrooms can be wild. It's okay if things are wild. Everything got these so. Let's have the FDA look at it. Because they tell you to microdose, but I say macrodose. That's what I say. A heroic dose, that's what it's called. Do a heroic dose of mushrooms, because if you microdose, that is the anti-heroic dose. You're the anti-hero. But I want to be more creative at work. You're doing mushrooms wrong. You're doing them wrong. If you are even thinking about work. Mushrooms, I also think there's something about just the physiological part of it that teaches you stuff too. Like how you feel sick at first, you feel nauseous, and you have to sure you kind of feel like you want to throw up for like a half hour, 45 minutes. But then on the other side of it is this magical, transcendent experience. And I think there's some lesson in there, not being like a fan of pain or some weirdo Marilyn Manson shit, but just noticing that sometimes things are hard and painful, but then on the other side is so that like the best things in life are preceded by like some suffering. And I think psychedelics are a great example of that. You might suffer a little bit at first, but then on the other side you have something magical, abracadabra. Traveling to a foreign country, you don't speak the language, you know anyone there. You don't know where you're going, like that's a anxious, stressful moment to go through, but if you're just scared of that, then you never get that feeling of actually spending time in that place. Experiencing what something really foreign is like. Giving birth, I haven't done it, but I hear it's pretty painful. The magic trick that you guys did, it's painful. But on the other side of it, you've got your human being, abracadabra. So sometimes it's just about like zooming out and trying to have some long-term picture of each data point instead of zooming in on one and thinking that's what keeps happening in perpetuity. And then there's ayahuasca. Now that's a whole thing. I love it. It's wonderful. It's the most significant spiritual experience I've ever had in my life. I've done it dozens of times. If you don't know about it, it's a hallucinogenic tea that you do with a shaman in a ceremony. It comes from the Amazon. There's no way to talk about it without sounding like a huge douchebag. I'm sorry. If I can clean up that description and make it more palatable to you, I would have done it. Why is all this new agey stuff trapped in like annoying people? Even new age is a weird term. These are like really crystals or astrology or yoga or meditation. Like all of those things are thousands of years old. There's nothing new at all about it. Why did we say new age? Oh, yoga, very new age. Like no, you're just dumb. It's old. Super old. But the biggest thing that people want to know about ayahuasca is, do you throw up? Number one question I get asked by people who know about it. Either that, there's also some diarrhea rumors. I've never known anyone who's had diarrhea, so I don't know where that came from. Don't trust the mainstream media, fake news. But throwing up does happen. For me personally, I've done it, 12 times and thrown up maybe 4 or 5 of those. But it's like not a big deal. People are freaked out about it. It's just sort of like something that happens and you get over it. It's not like the dominant part of the experience. And I mentioned it to a nurse one time, and she told me, anytime your body gets rid of something, it's good. Your body is never ejecting something that it really wants to hold on to. It's only getting rid of things it doesn't need it. And I thought that was an interesting way to phrase it, and also felt like the lesson that the vomiting was there for. Again, just this idea of like physiologically feeling something in your body. Like when a word makes you throw up, you never forget that word. And for me, the first time I ever did ayahuasca, that word for me was prosecuting. My dad was a prosecutor. He worked with Rudy Giuliani back when they were both sane. Yeah, it's like assistant DA here in Manhattan and the U.S. Attorney's Office, Southern District, Law and Order, Jewish sheriff type. And here's the thing, it's sort of like when you're a comedian, it almost becomes a lifestyle. It's a way of viewing the world. It's just how you process everything you're intaking. And for my dad, that's how being a prosecutor was. He saw the world like a prosecutor. He was always building a case. He was noticing the tiniest of crimes. He was always ready to make an argument, win a fight. And that first time I did ayahuasca, I was lying on my side and I was thinking about how I had behaved in relationships that I've been in. How I've been too judgmental. How a lot of times, something I had inherited in some way was building a case, noticing flaws, finding something to prosecute. And that I need to apologize to women I dated for the fact that my father was a prosecutor and I behaved. And as the word prosecutor hit my brain, the vomit just like rose up and just spewed into this bucket. And I was like, holy shit, I guess I needed to let that go. You don't forget when a word makes you vomit. You'll never forget that word for the rest of your life. And there's something about that purging that it is like, it's one thing to think of ideas and like having a quote unquote epiphany, but when you vomit, it's like an exclamation point. And it feels like it's like, oh, that was something you had to let go. That was a theme I kept coming back to. It's like, it's all about letting things go. Because I think ayahuasca, it can be really challenging and difficult, or it could be like a blissful experience. And my theory is it depends on how much emptying the trash you're doing on a regular basis. Like, we're all generating trash all the time, and you gotta be like disposing of it via therapy, or singing, or art, or exercise, or love, or, adopting a dog. I don't know what people do. I don't know. And then the stuff that's painful, you can't just hold on to it. If you just repress it, this is the numbness that you get. If you repress it, it's not going away. It's not like you got rid of it. It's just like taking your garbage and instead of throwing it out, you're like putting it in my closet, hoping no one notices. So you gotta let it go. And that's what I think ayahuasca does. So it'll fight you if you're not letting it go. It'll like go into your home, grab that emotional garbage you've been hiding from everyone and show it to you and be like, who the fuck are you hiding this from? You made this and then you hit it upon yourself when you could just let it go. And then it's like a purging of the soul. started counting our breaths. Inhale 1, exhale 2. Normal breathing. Inhale 3, exhale 4. Just get up to 10, and then start all over again. I find it confusing to figure out what's healthy nowadays. The internet has me very confused by the term self-care. Sounds very elevated for the tasks that fall underneath the umbrella of self-care on social media. Feel like I binge watch Netflix for 7 hours, and then I took a nap, and then I ate a pint of Ben & Jerry's Self-Care Sunday. Everything else there sounded like a cry for help. I don't know. I don't know how we're defining self-care. What I did yesterday, I mixed horse tranquilizers with fentanyl, and I got arrested, and my wife left me. Wellness Wednesday. Just make that work. LA seems healthy, yet why is it so plastic? Can you read plastic healthy? I went to this hipster coffee shop in LA. And I think it was a wellness thing, but I couldn't figure it out because I ordered a latte. She's like, what kind of milk do you want? I said, skim. And then she asked me what kind of dust I wanted. Angel? I don't know. I don't know what kind of options. A saw latte, maybe? Because name things healthy stuff, but I don't know if it is. Like the, what's the good thing? The diet where you fast for like 16 hours a day? What's the name of that diet? Anorexia, right? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. That is a hell of a rebranding job they did on anorexia. You gotta give it to whichever marketing geniuses. Intermittent fasting. This isn't your father's anorexia. California sober.
Oh, yeah, good one.
This is a good one. If you're not familiar, the first time I didn't know, I asked a friend, he's like, oh, it means I'll just, have a couple drinks and smoke some weed, but that's it. So you just mean not sober, that's all. California just means not, that's great. And I think the sign of these terms or bullshit is how we couldn't describe other things in our life this way. Like, do you love your wife? I'm intermittent loving. You want to see me on my cheat day, you know how I get. Wait a minute, you're faithful to your wife? Like, hey, I was eating hookers. I'm California monogamous. We'll catch up one day. They tell me being sober is healthy. What about being sober? Is that the path? I guess I'm more inclined to agree with Oscar Wilde. Everything in moderation, including moderation. Seems like a good philosophy. But sober, I find, as a word, is tricky. Someone will ask me, am I sober? Like, do you mean right now? Forever? Either way, the answer is no. Because that word, I just think it's interesting how much work we made do was like, I'm sober, I don't drink. You're like, okay, well, are you drinking? Are you driving? You know? Are you a Mormon? Have you never been fun in your entire life? Or were you so much fun that you had an ankle bracelet? Which one? All right? I need to know type 1 or type 2 sobriety the same way the doctor needs to know about diabetes. Then people will brag online about their sobriety. I have mixed feelings about this. Like, I'm happy for them. It's good that they're sober, I know. But like, why do they get to brag? It's been 897 days since I last had a drink. Thank God for AA. It's like, all right. Can incels do this? You just not did something. Been 748 days since I last got laid. Thank God for Comic-Con. Congratulations on not doing something. You nailed it. I don't know how to explain it to you. You know who should be bragging is functional alcoholics. They're the ones who deserve to be 289 days in a row I drove to work drunk and no one's done it yet, all right? Give that guy a chip. My God. And then I think it's interesting if you're a woman and you stop drinking, you gotta be careful how you deliver that news. I knew a girl who stopped drinking, big group dinner with all of her friends, you know, the server came by, was like getting wine for the lady, and she was like, oh, I'm not drinking tonight, and all of her friends went, what? Are you pregnant? And every head in the room turned to her, and she had to be like, no, I have a problem. Can't get rid of it that easily, all right? But again, that's the patriarchy. I never even thought about that. That it's easier to get rid of a pregnancy problem than a drinking problem. It never occurred to me. You're pregnant, you take a couple pills, problem solved. You got a drinking problem, you take a couple pills, you just solved your problem, all right? There's a whole new set of meetings you need to go to. Oh, I should have ended on the line that got the applause. But I'm not done. We still have like anxiety and death to talk about. And then we'll get out of here. You guys anxious? You neurotic? Are you Jews? I'm a Jew. Someone asked me why Jews are always so anxious and neurotic. And I was like, well, there used to be some Jews. And then, you know, history. The relaxed Jews were like, I'm going to stick around, see how this all plays out. And then there was no more relaxed Jews. So they're like the Avengers of anxiety. It's like a superhero with neurosis. So how do I deal with my anxiety? Because I think I do a pretty good job. What's the right way to deal with anxiety? Well, I've surrounded myself with like death, so that's a good tool. It puts things in perspective. Suffering and death, dying. We try to hide it in our society a lot, but it's right there, tap dancing on the ceiling. Death is always tap dancing on the ceiling. I was happy when my mom died. Because a year earlier she had told me that if she lived 2 more years, she wanted me to help her take her own life. And I agreed. And so a year later she had a stroke and passed away. I was like, thank God. I'm not going to have to find that hitman to kill my mom. She was ready to go. Sometimes it's time. It's a bummer when it's not time, but my sister, a couple years later, her husband died in a motorcycle accident, leaving her behind to take care of their 6-month-old child. And that one can't help but stay, you know? I remember seeing my sister breastfeed her infant son in a funeral parlor while picking out her dead husband's casket. And if someone put that in a show on HBO, I'd be like, it's a little much, okay? A little too on the nose. We'll maybe take an accessory off before we leave the house. And then a few years after that, my dad got bone cancer, which is not an easy thing to solve because it's like in your bones. So I didn't even know about it, but I got to spend time with him in his final days, which was really like kind of special and fascinating, and made me think like we kind of shove death in a corner all the time and try to put it, you know, in hospitals or nursing homes and ignore it, but like it's got some real value for what it teaches you about life and what matters. I remember the death doctor, I call him, because he's just around death all the time. He's a really cool dude, and told me about this book, and there's 4 things that matter when you die. People on their deathbeds care about these 4 things. Please forgive me, I forgive you, I love you, and thank you. And the emphasis on forgiveness seems really interesting to me, because I think it's a key part of like religions, like you know, Jews have like a Day of Atonement, Catholics have a confession booth, but I feel like we're getting less and less religious. But where are we exercising our forgiveness muscles? We have to replace, it's like a peloton of forgiveness. And you've got to replace it every once in a while, just so it has the latest software. And the thing with death is that it's, well, there's a Buddhist author who wrote something that stuck with me. It was the first book I ever read on Buddhism, and I never forgot this. He talked about why we love roses, and how a rose has this texture, and this color, and this vibrancy, and we know it's going to die. We know it's eventually going to wither into nothingness, but that doesn't mean we don't want it. Because otherwise we have the plastic rose. And yeah, it stays the same color and it never dies, but that's why it's worthless. That the thing that dies is the thing that has value. We are the thing we want. Do I believe in reincarnation, or do I think we just turn into dirt? Someone asked me that once in the setup to this joke. Do I believe in reincarnation, or do I think we just turn into dirt? I'll tell you the truth. I think we just turn into dirt. You know, we get buried, we go in the ground, we're there for a while, we decompose, we turn into dirt. And then the worms come crawling through us. And the sunlight shines down upon us. Some animal comes by and takes a dump on us. And something in our, I don't know what it's called, DNA? Molecules, life force, whatever you want to call it, something in there knows to start going to the surface, to go towards the light. Just go towards the light. Something inside you knows. And so you start rising towards the surface, you know, you finally like bursts out above the soil like a baby bird with its, beak that's piercing the shell and kind of gets out and goes to the light. And you're just piercing that soil and then you're like a blade of grass. And that blade of grass grows tall and then gets eaten by a cow, and then that cow gets slaughtered and turned into a hamburger, and some kid orders a hamburger at a diner and takes a bite. Now you're inside that kid. So do I believe in reincarnation, or do I think you just turn into dirt? Yes. Both. Because we keep wanting to go towards the light. When you die, that's what people always say. They see a light, they're being pulled towards the light. And think about what it's like being born. You're like a fetus in the birth canal. Eventually you start getting pulled in a direction, and eventually there's a glimpse of light ahead of you. And you just pulled towards the light. So maybe dying is just another form of being born. And being born is just dying, and being the blade of grass that grows towards the light. Just going towards the light. That baby bird. So yeah, being born and dying. Abracadabra. Greatest magic trick ever. Well done, ladies. Thank you. Take a few more deep breaths. Just notice where you're inhaling and where you're exhaling. Just pay attention to that. Wherever your body is touching the ground, your feet on the floor, your back against the wall, your hands on your lap. Thank you so much for being part of this experience today. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much to Steve for providing such wonderful sounds. Thank you to Whitney for executive producing and helping make this show. Ashley for helping out too. Elizabeth, thank you so much for helping and listening to all of my kooky ideas. And now it's time for us to re-enter the atmosphere. And I guess we're out of wine, but if you want to go somewhere and have a drink, we have that. But we do need to clear out the space somewhat soon. So thank you all again so much for being part of this. Something I thought about doing for a long time, and then I'm like, well, who's going to want to show up and see that? And the answer is you guys. And that is it. Thank you. All right.